This morning, there are more questions and answers following a federal judge's ruling on Oregon's Reproductive Health Equity Act. Fox News' Deborah Gill joins us live this morning with reaction. Deb, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, that 2017 law requires most Oregon insurance plans to cover reproductive health services, including contraception and abortion, without out-of-pocket costs. Now, the judge issued an oral ruling, but a written decision spelling out exactly who this applies to has not yet been released. The law allows employers an exemption to not cover abortions and contraceptives if it violates their religious beliefs. But because the Kaiser-based nonprofit was not affiliated with a specific religious group or institution, it did not qualify for the religious exemption. The latest ruling would allow Oregon Right to Life to decline abortion and contraceptive coverage in insurance plans provided to employees.
Whether you hold a pro-life view or pro-choice view, I think we can all agree that First Amendment protections are bedrock, essential to the freedom that we have in this country, and this law violates that.
Think of all of the women and their families that are going to be harmed by this decision. We fought so hard in Oregon to be a leader in this space, and this is going to set things back.
Dr. Maria Rodriguez, director of the OHSU Center for Women's Health, says decisions about reproductive health should be between patients and doctors and not in court. Governor Tina Kotek and Attorney General Dan Rayfield condemned the decision. The question now is how far the ruling reaches, whether it only applies to Oregon Right to Life, which filed the lawsuit, or if it can be applied to other businesses that are not affiliated with a religious group or institution. Rayfield says his office will use every tool available, including an appeal, to defend access to abortion and the law. Now, the governor says that the law remains in effect and that there is no impact to abortion coverage today. The Attorney General's office does believe that this ruling applies or is limited to just Oregon's Right to Life, but says the judge's written opinion will provide more clarity. Reporting live, Deborah Gill, Good Day, Oregon.